Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I thought today we'd do a video on gender selection. I did a few TikTok videos recently that generated a lot of comments, a lot of questions, even emails about how to increase the chances of having a boy or a girl. What works? Do certain positions work? Does timing of intercourse work? Does sperm sorting work? So there are a lot of myths out there, and I thought we'd go over some of these myths today. If you're new to my channel, my name is Kathiresan and I'm a fertility physician in Houston, Texas. I am also a mom to 3 little ones. So my hope here is to share general fertility educational information, but also with time more about me and my life. So I hope you'll stay tuned for more on the channel. So before we dive in, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get started. Let's start with some background information. So a woman's karyotype or chromosome makeup is XX. A man's chromosome makeup or karyotype is XY. So when a woman makes an egg, she can only make eggs with an X chromosome in them because she is XX. When a man makes a sperm, because he's XY, he can make either a Y chromosome sperm or an X chromosome sperm. So he's the one that's ultimately going to determine the gender of the offspring. So for example, if we have a X chromosome sperm meet a X chromosome egg, we end up with XX or a girl. If we have a Y chromosome sperm, then we end up with a Y chromosome sperm meeting an X chromosome egg, and we end up with XY or a boy. So that is how the gender is ultimately determined. Okay, let's talk about some of the myths. How do we differentiate an X chromosome sperm from a Y chromosome sperm? Because that's ultimately what's important and what will determine the gender of the future offspring. So it's thought that the Y chromosome sperm has a little less DNA compared to the X chromosome sperm. So therefore the Y chromosome sperm may be a little faster compared to the X. Now, some of these myths are based on this information. So for example, myth number 1, have intercourse closer to the time of ovulation if you're hoping for a boy, that this may be more associated with a boy, and have intercourse 2 to 4 days before ovulation if you're hoping for a girl, because this may be associated with having a girl. There is no evidence for this. And the other concern is if you're having intercourse, for example, if you're trying to have a boy and you're limiting the time you're having intercourse and only aiming for ovulation, you may miss ovulation, and you're not doing what's recommended to maximize your chances of conceiving that cycle, which is have intercourse every 2 to 3 days during the fertile window. So if you're limiting the time you're having intercourse during that fertile window, you may be decreasing your chances of conception in that cycle. So that's another concern. Myth number 2, position. It's thought that the missionary position may be more associated with having a girl, and the thought behind that is it may take longer with missionary position for the sperm to reach the egg, and therefore it may be more associated with the girl by having an X chromosome in the sperm. There is no evidence for this either. So in terms of timing and position, there's no recommendation we can make in terms of increasing the chances of having a boy or having a girl. So another option is sperm sorting, and this is done with a centrifuge or dye, and this is also based on the information that the Y chromosome may have a little bit less DNA compared to the X chromosome. So with the centrifuge, it can differentiate based on density in X chromosome versus a Y chromosome in theory, and with dye, because there's less DNA in the Y chromosome, potentially have a little bit less uptake of the dye and therefore differentiate the X chromosome from the Y chromosome that way. So this is not very reliable, and it's about a 50-50 accuracy rate. So it's really not that different compared to trying on your own without the method. So most fertility clinics actually don't offer this. So the last option is IVF with PGT. IVF stands for in vitro fertilization. PGT stands for pre-implantation genetic testing. And this is what is recommended for gender selection and is nearly 100% accurate. The process involves the woman taking injections to stimulate the ovaries to make as many eggs as she can make, then undergoing an egg retrieval, which is a minor surgical procedure to remove the eggs. And then the egg and sperm will meet in the lab and we have an embryo. The embryo will grow for about 5 to 6 days until it becomes a blastocyst. And then once it makes it to that stage, we do an embryo biopsy, which is just essentially a sampling of a few of the cells from the outside of the embryo and send it for genetic testing. And then we will freeze the embryo after we do the biopsy, wait for the results, and then once we have the results, we'll review them with the patient, determine which embryos are girls or boys, and which embryo we're going to put back in. And that is the overall process. So this is, again, what is accurate and what is recommended for gender selection. All the other options we discuss are myths and just not very reliable. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it, share it with your fellow fertility warrior, and don't forget to subscribe. And you can always follow me on other social media platforms for fertility education on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and my website, which is www.kathiresanmd.com. Thank you so much again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.